I can have everyone's attention for one last time. So our night is quickly coming to an end. However, I am convinced the mayor to keep the bar open for a little bit longer on his tab. So thanks to Trevor for that. I don't know if anybody heard that. The bar is staying open. Thanks to Trevor, the bar is staying open.
That's a lot.
So everyone, I want to introduce our keynote speaker, and of course they have the Ukrainian and Italian do this, so I'm going to probably butcher out all the names here. But Mayor Carmen Yulin Cruz Soto, the former mayor of San Juan, Puerto Rico, the author of El Poder Está en la Calle, The Power in the Streets. During her tenure, the mayor established monthly meetings which kept her in direct contact with San Juan's communities. In keeping with her belief that as the mayor, her greatest mission was to ensure the municipal government listened to and responded to the constituents' needs. Sounds like someone else we know in this room. Her vision of public service is one of the governing not for the people, but with the people. She believes a better society is built by having strong student organizations, labor unions, and by implementing programs wherein the people of the community decide how to best develop sustainable plans for themselves. The list of awards that the mayor has received are extraordinary, including but definitely not limited to the Martin Luther King Center Justice, Peace and Freedom Award and the Humanitarian Leadership Award in 2018. She was also named by the People in Espanol as one of the 50 most powerful women in 2017, and Time Magazine chose her as the candidate for Person of the Year recognition in 2017 as well. In 2018, she was on the Time Magazine list of the 100 most influential people in the world, thanks to her efforts because of the recovery of Hurricane Maria. She was named in Essence Magazine's Woke 100 Women list, among many, many other awards. Currently, the mayor is back in Puerto Rico, where she continues to speak up for the causes that she is passionate about. And maybe this is the best testament to her longevity. When I mentioned to my deputy sheriff, Ernie Pacheco, that I was coming here this evening to greet the former mayor of San Juan, he was so enthusiastic, he wanted to come here tonight. I said, I'm going to give you the chance to meet the mayor. I'd like Ernie to give what I would imagine is a traditional Puerto Rican welcome, but I don't know. Laura would know more than I would. So, Deputy Ernie Pacheco, real quickly.
Good evening. It is with honor to present the Honorable Carmen Yulin, direct from Puerto Rico.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Is that how they say in Ohio? Hello, everybody. How you doing? Come on, you're about to go to the playoffs. You have to have a screaming voice here. And who is this?
Matilda, Tilly.
Matilda. I'm Matilda. How are you? It's very difficult to compete with an open bar. So I'm going to be very, very brief. First of all, I met Trevor a few years ago when I came over with another friend, Puerto Rican friend, to campaign for former Senator Nina Turner. And Trevor was kind enough to open his home. He said, I want you to meet my wife. Smart man knows who the important person in the family is. So I met Laura and I met all of the girls, and we sat at the porch and had a wonderful conversation. We've kept our friendship going throughout the years, through thick and thin, whether things were good or whether things seemed to be bad. Because that's what you do when you find a person whose values and whose heart are in the right place. When I was a little girl, about 6 years old, I'm 4'11" and a half. That half is very important. I was being what you would call now bullied. This young man who I later dated in life would push me aside and take my lunch money. And one day my grandmother came to pick me up, and she saw I had a little bit of a cut lip and a little bit of blood in my nose and said, what happened? And I said, nothing. And she said, did you start the fight? And I said, no. Did you finish the fight? And I started doing that thing that one does when one doesn't want to cry because they know that you know that you're going to make an ass out of yourself. And she said, let me tell you what you're going to do next time. I'm a pacifist, so was she. I'm just telling you what she told me to do. So it was the 60s. We had these lunch boxes that were made out of metal. And they had these thermos that were made out of glass, right? So she told me, this is what you're going to do. Matilda, don't listen to this. She said, next time this happens, you're going to take the lunchbox, you're going to hit him as hard as you can. You're going... That's exactly what she said. You're going to run as fast as you can, and you're going to scream as loud as you can. Because if he gets you, he's going to do with you. Because you're too little and he's too big. I had pointed him out. A couple of weeks went by. Of course, he did it again. Of course, I took the lunchbox and I swung as hard as I could. I was taken to the teacher's office, and she was called in. So she gets there, and I'm sitting there on the chair outside of the teacher's office, and she says, did you start the fight? And I said, no, and with a big smile, I said, but I finished it. And it's nice. It doesn't matter where I'm at. While I'm telling the story, all of the women in the audience are smiling, and all of the men in the audience are like, where's she going with this? So while we're there, the teacher is going at me. You have got beautiful eyes, sir. Is your wife around? So
she's inside.
Yeah, well, good. Oh, there you are, ma'am. How you doing?
Did you start it or you ended
I
it?
started this one. I'm telling your husband he's got beautiful eyes. Look at this. He's getting red. So anyway, so the teacher is going at me and saying that she doesn't know what happened. I'm such a good student and so calm. And my grandmother, who was 4'11", not at the half, that's right, 4'11", stands up and says to me, you know, it's really interesting, while you were getting hit, nobody was concerned. But now that you defended yourself, then everybody is upset about this. What is she getting? Oh, she's getting suspended. Well, you pick up your stuff, you're coming with me. And as we're walking out, she says, you have a right to defend yourself. And that stuck with me. But then when we got to the car, she said to me, but you have a responsibility to defend others. And when I sat down at that porch with Trevor and his family, you could tell in everything they said, from the story of how they met, to the things that they had been doing, to the life that they would wish not for themselves only, but for everybody else, that they felt that responsibility, not only to take care of each other, but to take care of others, and to ensure that others could take care of themselves. That is why that family stood in my heart all these years. And when he texted and said, I'm giving this activity, it is not a fundraiser, it is just I want to thank the people that have been with me throughout all these years, I knew that this is not a BS move from a politician, but this is a heart move from a man who truly believes that he is nothing if he's not making other people's lives better. If he doesn't use the power given to him by the people to make other people's lives better. Now I'm gonna finish very soon because again, I want you to have lots of drinks. If you celebrate Passover, happy Passover. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. We live in a difficult time. A time where it seems that some people profit from making sure that we fight against each other, that we find what is different amongst us, and that we really lean into what is different in order to separate us and think that we are that much different. I have a 34-year-old daughter. I know I don't look it. I'm 62 years old. Again, I know I don't look it. I love that woman. But one of the things that I'm
64.
64. You look good.
Thank you.
But one of the things that I'm really, really proud of is that just like Trevor's daughters, my daughter and Matilda lives in a place where people can, if we work together, accomplish so many things together despite our differences. And we all want the same things. I gave birth, like I said, 34 years ago. You gave birth how long ago?
9 months ago.
9 months ago. So I can tell you that no matter where you gave birth or how long ago you gave birth, my birthing pain was the same as your birthing pain. We all suffer the same thing. We all want the same things. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, today I want to go hungry. I don't want to be able to have policemen come into my house if something goes wrong. I want to be able to work only part-time. I don't want to be able to afford my bills. Nobody, it doesn't matter where you're from. You don't want that. And when you love people and you have affection for people like Trevor and his family do, you want to make sure that everyone gets the same. On September 20th, 2017, Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, devastated it. We were without electricity for about a year, which in turn made most of the people in Puerto Rico be without running water for almost a year. I lived in a shelter with other, what we started calling climate change refugees, for 4 months. Because I figured I'm no better than anyone, so if they have to live in a shelter, I should share on that and make sure that everything is okay. Because of places like Cleveland, Ohio, we got the aid that we needed. Not only the diaspora, the Puerto Rican diaspora, but the American people opened their hearts, and I still say it and I get a little, so forgive me, and left their homes, 327 AFL-CIO workers, to go to San Juan and 34 other neighborhoods outside of San Juan and tend to our wounds and feed us and give us water. When you encounter that, there's only one thing to do. You have to speak up. And you may say, well, that's a big emergency, that's a big problem. Well, every day you encounter big emergencies and big problems all over your city. And it is with great gratitude that as just a simple Puerto Rican, the mother of another young Puerto Rican, I thank you. Because you may have given $1, you may have said a prayer, you may have turned on the TV, you may have tweeted or Facebooked something that made sure that what we were going through was heard. And that is the one thing that gratitude says. And that is what Trevor wants to say to all of you tonight. And what he's probably said to you all along, that's why you're here. Thank you for sticking with him. It is when the chips are down that you know who's with you. And let me tell you, I don't know many politicians that get elected by 70% of the vote. And the reason why he got elected by 70% of the vote is because he's not a politician, he's a public servant. And that's a different story. Politicians kiss babies, politicians throw fundraisers, public servants do their job every day, kiss the baby, and throw gratitude parties. So if you have a drink in your hand, please raise your drink. Matilda, hope she doesn't have one. And Trevor, thank you for making sure that we all still understand that there is hope, that not everything is wrong in the world, that there are places like your community where people can thrive, where people can come together, where people can look for a common goal and move forward. Thank you for being a friend, not only to me, but to everybody here. Thank you for your lovely family, because we were talking on the ride from the airport, Laura, without family, it's very difficult to do the work that needs to be done on a daily basis. But mostly, thank each one of you, and look around at the diversity in this room, and look around at the equitable distribution of the drinks in this room, and look around at the inclusion that we have. Those three words have just made me the enemy of the state right now. But just make sure that you understand how fortunate you are and how grateful you should all be to have one another. So raise your glass to Mayor Trevor Elkins, and may there be many, many more years to come.